find those. No, which one is that now? I think it's the ones in the billing schedule.
I have your stuff down here.
That one.
There, right there. This is where the one. It's in the 20. It's in that 9:15. Is that the one that was also? That's the one that was put in place of the other one, right?
It replaced two.
Yeah, so it's in section. Well, yeah, it's in section P under paragraph 1 or 2, 3, 4. Is this there? No, I just put the page wrong. Oh, I'm sorry. It's in section D, paragraph 1. Yeah. The user training. Yeah, because we're supposed to be about making sure the bills get paid, and this is we're not sure. Yeah, pretty much all I got from the contractors. We need to get addresses of like the Craig's property and so forth on ones that haven't been hooked up. And we pass it on to him to make sure it's on the list. If it's not on the list, then he's gonna push Chris to get to get him on the list. From my understanding.
I see.
Okay.
Kids
I'll have to give it to him.
walking on t-shirts and things.
Yeah,
Because
wondering-
I've got some that are,
That's how they get
I've got his
closed.
hookup list, but I can't put it with who it is.
Okay. So I know that like their properties not all on there. I know they got easements, so we'll have to compare it there. And once we get their addresses, we'll have to get that passed on there. They have to make sure it's on the list. And Jason said, I'll address this. Jason said as long as we have the addresses, he'll push Chris to get them on the list to get your guys your tax. As far as your other properties that haven't been hooked up yet.
Well, I would hope.
Yeah, but he doesn't know if they're on the list, so I need to get the addresses to make sure.
Easements were given from the beginning.
I understand, but that's where I got to argue with them to get it taken care of properly. So he's got to argue, Jason, if he doesn't have it, and if he does, then we got to push to make sure it is done. So that's being taken through between him and Chris Hunt. So that's where I need to get the information clarified. That's what I was talking to him the other day. He's like, well, if it's not on the list, he's like, I can't do anything, but if it is and it's not, then obviously they'll have to address it when they come back. So however it is, I gotta clarify. So we're in the middle of all that right now, is where we stand.
I still think there should be one here.
Yeah, why not? So I mean, there could be a future restroom hooked up here potentially, if they wanted to.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear you.
Oh, she said that she thought this place should qualify for having one too, depending on down the road if they're gonna put
Absolutely should.
one in, yeah. So wherever's not. But this place,
You might
according
wanna
to the
bring that
ordinance, should. Oh,
It's
10
fine.
o'clock. Excuse me. Alright. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thanks for everybody coming this morning. We get a roll call
Brian,
here.
Beth, Gilbert.
Here. Alright, at this time I'd like to open up to the floor to any of the public for any questions you may have. This morning. Yes, sir.
EPA is gonna be in today at 1:30 for inspection up at the plant. It is supposed to have been on the 7th, but she called me yesterday and asked if she could do it today, and I don't have a problem doing it today. So. And one of the things that she's suggesting that we do, client's been out of compliance for 2 months since and that's normal for a new client starting up. And we put poke on, it is on our compliance for about 4 months before it finally came in. But something that she's suggesting that we do, I don't know how the budget looks, but we need to maybe bring in some seed and seed the plant to get it going, to give it some bacteria. Basically, we'd be putting bacteria in the tanks to help it take off. So they suggested that basically we'd get a sludge hauler to go to another plant and pump some of their bacteria, their activated sludge, bring it up and dump it on the tanks. And that normally runs, usually all they charge is for the hauling. And that's usually about $250 to $350 to be one load.
So that's something we can authorize to be done, or is that something we have to put through council?
But she's probably gonna ask about that today, so I'll just tell her I've talked to you guys about it.
That's our recommendation to do that.
No, that's for you guys.
Operation.
Yeah.
We just make a recommendation ourselves to do that.
Well, somebody just
Just
makes a motion.
Make a motion.
Yeah.
Okay, is there anything else you need to update with that?
As far as equipment's been doing pretty good. Got a couple of glinces on some alarms that keeps coming on and off, but that's nothing major. The vendor's taking care of that, so everything's still on warranty, so that's about it.
Do we have internet access up there yet?
I haven't seen anything up there.
No, I need to get with you.
Okay.
Alright, do we have a recommendation to go ahead and proceed it? Alright, I'll second that motion, provided that's what we need to do, so we go ahead and
With that sludge,
make a sludge.
What's
with
that?
that sludge you're gonna put up there,
Yeah, I asked her, I said, can I give the plant a couple more weeks to see if it comes in on its own? And she is okay with that, but I thought I'd better bring this up just in case I need to do it.
Okay.
So if she give me 2 more weeks, I'll wait and see what the plant's doing.
Okay.
But if it's not gonna come in, we might have to seed it. So
Okay. So we have a recommendation to seed it if it was needed.
yeah,
A motion.
A motion.
yeah,
Okay, Brian,
I'll second, yes.
Gilbert,
yes.
Beth,
I got one more thing.
Mhm.
And she comes in today, we don't have no meters up there, no pH meter, no DO meter. I know she's gonna put that in her report. I've been asking Jason, I've been asking Chris. I've sent 3 or 4 responses to them asking for this stuff, and I haven't got no response back on it. So I don't know where to proceed from here, but, you know, she's gonna basically ask how I'm on pHs. I got cheaper tester up there right now, and it's not EPA approved. I don't have no DO meter up there, and no sludge gauge or anything. As far as anything that's been up there, you know, I basically bought it on my own. I have not received no okay to buy anything as far as meters or equipment I need up there. I've been bringing toilet paper in up there on my own, paper towels on my own, and all that stuff.
I thought they were supposed to take care of that. I'll put that in
I
my.
did too.
I need to be contacting Jason again after our meeting anyway, so I'll put that in there. Say why I've been asking him why he haven't responded to your request for that equipment, because that's supposed to have been part of it as far as I knew.
Okay, and I don't know if we got any kind of small budget for housekeeping supplies up there. Yeah, I'd soon not be bringing stuff in from home for up there either, so, you know.
Yeah, we should go alongside with paper and all that kind of stuff, whatever you would need.
Okay.
Add that to the shopping list. Yeah, we'll get that corrected for you.
Okay.
Well, you don't have a bathroom. If you did, I'm sure council provided. All right. As far as old business goes, listed here is the pamphlets.
Oh yes, because last meeting they weren't done. Now they're done. They should be out to everybody. If you haven't gotten any, there's some out here on the table.
Okay. Continuation of our old business. Some of the questions were asked at the last meeting. Mr. Baker's not here. I'll have to get with him privately or separately from here. They said that they would be open to changing where his line would go. He might have to do something with his plumbing internally, which I'll talk to him about that. I talked to Jason about it. If they could run his line out the front of his house, it may just mean he has to do something internally a little different than what's set up now. As far as the other question goes about the people not being hooked up, I need to make sure I get the proper addresses for, like I was saying, the Craig's properties and so forth, to make sure they're on the list. And if they're not on the list that Jason has for whatever reasons, he's going to get with Chris, make sure they get on there, which put it through the EPA to make sure everybody qualifies, which your properties do. Everybody's going to get their, the tap and so forth. He did say that, I know that there was some information put out that they're going to be back in March. He was saying it's more likely going to be April, just when it gets dry, when they come back to fix like any of the properties and so forth. They need some, not just warm weather. Basically, he's saying it needs to be dry enough to have the equipment on it. However, there's a place like mine has a sinkhole. If you know of anybody else has it, if they can give me their addresses, he will send somebody in sooner than that to fill in some of the holes that are in some people's properties. Like mine has an increasing size hole, so if you can get the word out to anybody that has that kind of issue going on, if you give the addresses to one of us and can pass it on to Jason, he'll get somebody in there sooner to start filling some of that in before they come back to do the, final cleanup and so forth. And he plans on hooking up whoever's not hooked up at that point, as far as that goes. So I need to get some addresses, pass on to him. So that's where I was going to talk to him after our meeting today, and then let him know ongoing if anybody has any of the addresses of anybody that needs, some immediate attention or something. We'll get that taken care of through them. So that's an ongoing dialogue right now. He said if he has the information, he can push Chris to get it done. Chris Hunt, that is. So I think that's all that I had from as far as those questions go. Also, looks like council passed our recommendations we had from last.
They approved them.
Approved them.
They'll adopt an ordinance at the next meeting.
However, is there still a problem with the one that was 1/1/17, Dave?
1/1/17.
Yeah, the one for the $250. Didn't they put a 1/1/17 January 1st, 17 date specification on it.
Yes, as far as what I read.
So anybody hooked up after January 1st would
That
still
may-
be liable for the $250.
That's what it states.
That's what it says.
Well, that might be needing to consider a recommendation for those who are haven't been hooked up prior to that. They had the easements to be hooked up though. That could create
That's
a,
right. And then I have a question. Have you went over and did a basic budget, like, Tim's salary, the insurance, the internet, and everything that we need, the phone line? And what you established is the basic rate now, is that gonna cover everything, or are we gonna come up short?
well, we do have a basic one that was set up initially, and that's where we're gonna have to start reviewing for, is it June we have to put in a new one?
It's due July.
July. So that's gonna be coming, and these are considerations that if you look through the budget, initially was some in there, but I have no answer for you at this time if we're gonna be short or whatever. I know there's some considerations, we have behind us we're gonna consider.
Do we want to do that
yeah, let's
now,
go
or
ahead and
do
do that
we
now.
want to?
I guess we can transition slightly into new business, cause this is kind of connects to old business also about meeting the budget.
Or do you want to just finish?
Well, that would be new business, so we can move on to that kind of transitions into it.
Okay.
With financial reports same time kind of thing.
Okay, I have there are 74 tabs. Tim is looking puzzled. Is that,
Yeah, I'm kind of, as of now, I'm thinking it's 64.
how many should be hooked up yet?
I'm thinking there's 4 to be hooked up that it's in the project.
Okay, so that's gonna bring my number down further then.
How many actual residences are there in town that have to be hooked up?
Not all the, some of the types we hooked up, they don't have homes as of now, but there's a potential, that there is gonna be a home there. But I'd say there's probably, off the top of my head, there's a couple that we've hooked in that basically it watched that there was a home there. So I don't know if you're gonna charge them, being there's a tap there. But as of now, on my paperwork, I've got 65 taps.
Okay.
Plus, there's probably gonna be about 4 more on top of that.
about
So
69.
69, 70, somewhere in there.
And like we said, we need to clarify if the Craig's properties and so forth are on that list too. That's where I
Right.
need to get with Jason on and so on.
Honestly, I
Yeah.
don't think it's in the project, but
You will need to speak with my husband.
Yeah, that's fine. I'm like I said, he asked me last month, and I'm followed up with Jason, bringing it to everybody here. So I'll have to talk to him separately too, potentially. Let him know that hey, this is how we're progressing, and I'm trying to get it done. So I need to.
because I know originally I talked to Chris, he told me it had to be in an active residence to be hooked in. So
Yeah, right. As we discussed through the ordinances, that's not really how it's written. So that's where the
that had something to do about the loan from.
we'll look to push through some of that.
I don't know what the issue is, I guess.
Well, I guess the issue at the moment looks like that potentially some of the addresses that were like the qualifying properties based on the way the ordinance was written and the easements that were given for and so forth aren't necessarily on the master list of who was supposed to have gotten the taps.
Yeah,
So it maybe the list maybe should have been longer than what it was.
yeah, Chris told me
project.
when they originally got the free loan, it's supposed to have been for active homes. It wasn't for any future homes or anything like that. It's supposed to be active residences on the original free mining. And so anything you hooked up beyond that was gonna be charged on top of the loan. So
Yeah.
that's all I know.
I understood that. I understand that perspective. However, that's not how the
Yeah.
village council and the ordinances passed was written. So
Yeah.
that's where I guess that's where the crux of the argument is.
And as we was hooking them up, I was asking Chris, this house is not active at the moment. And he said, was it? And I said, probably at one time it was. And we went ahead and hooked hook them up on that basis.
What do you mean the house wasn't active?
You know, according to a loan that Chris told, this is through Chris,
Yeah.
the house had to be active residents to be hooked in.
When you say somebody actually had to be living there and using the
Yes.
residence. Okay. And there's some houses in town that are vacant, that's not being used, but it's an actual house there.
Yeah, so we went ahead and put the tap in.
That makes
And I'm
sense.
saying that you might not get any income from them homes. So, you know, that's what I'm saying, you know, even though the tap's there, but the house is not active, I don't know.
But if they're hooked in, they get billed.
Well,
that's up to the
If
BPA
they're
and,
not hooked in, they don't get
Yeah.
billed. In other words, if there's a tap there
yeah,
in the line, but it's a vacant property, they shouldn't get billed for it because there's no use.
yeah.
But if there's a tap there and it's hooked into the home, regardless of whether they're using it or not, they're getting billed for it.
I
It's
agree,
just the way it
that's
is.
what it should be, yeah.
So
Not a problem.
Yeah.
And you're saying, those, Chris says that those are the EPA guidelines that we
Yeah, that's,
follow,
as
that
on the
we may
basis
have
of a
went out.
loan, you know, it had to be for the free money, it had to be an active home,
Right.
you know, so.
Which we have no right to change those guidelines.
You know, that's something
Still
you
going
need to
by
talk of Chris.
stuff in the
about.
village ordinance.
Yeah.
You just need to talk to my husband.
Alright, well, as far as going back to your question about the budget.
Okay, so now this is going to be lower then, because right now we're only getting $15 a month because we're on the assessment. So that is, well, it's going to be less than $1,000 that we're generating a month. When we go to the 2850, and I'm not considering the businesses because I don't know how much the businesses are, don't know how much that's going to increase. So I'm just going with the basic. At 2850 with 74 hookups, that's $2,100. Now if we go over to the expense side, we've got the operator, we got admin, we got utilities, which is gas, and if you look at your financial report here, you can see that electricity for February was $203.51. Electricity for January was $245.30. Gas was $58.19 and $57.15. And then if you add internet on top of that, that's about $162 a month. Testing, I've received bills for January from Alloway in the amount of $272. Gotta have stamps every month to send the bills out. We have question marks here on how much for operating supplies, any more office supplies for paper, toner, that sort of thing.
Obviously,
not
we need
sh-
to add toiletries to that.
Right. And then we've got insurance because I don't know how much the insurance is going to be for the plant, and then legal fees. So just with these known, which some of those are variable anyway, this is almost $1,500 here. So just so you know, I mean, this is a business. We have to be cognizant of what our income is and what our expenses are. So just kind of an illustration for you.
So what we were talking about earlier is making a recommendation that the council review the current ordinance the way it's written, specifically in the let's see, make sure I get this correct. This one correct. In the ordinance 09 of 2015 under section P. I'm not looking at the right one again. No, I'm not looking at. Sorry, it's section.
under
It says section 2.
1, section A. Paragraph 7 says monthly sewer charges shall become effective on the date of connection, which is, so if they're already connected, they should be charged.
Yeah, which
But then there's a provision that says that, and I'm not finding it off the top.
that's in this. I'm sorry, that's in under this section 2, I guess, or
Page,
whatever, this 2 user charge system, which is page 12 under section D, paragraph 1. It says the monthly sewer rates and charges will become effective upon acceptance of the sewer system by the village. Obviously, those contradict each other.
So you need to amend it really to take out that you can either leave it become effective upon acceptance, or and take out this upon data connection, or take out the acceptance part and start billing people for the usage that they're having.
And as we're talking about it from the budget standpoint, running like a business, obviously we're putting ourselves in a deficit at the moment for not having it one way or another. But that's for council we need to recommend council to amend this ordinance to one
Instead of
way or
amending
another.
everything.
Yeah, it
I'm
needs a,
sorry.
Instead of amending everything, we can just take out the acceptance. We can go ahead and bill before we accept the.
Well, it'll be
not the-
It's
it'll be
still an
part of the
amendment.
Still an
amendment.
amendment.
It's
Yeah.
still an amendment.
It'd be one
but
way
it'll
or the
be-
other.
Alright,
so we need to have a motion to recommend council adjust one of these paragraphs to have it one way, I guess we say one way or the other, to bill after they hook in, or to bill after it's accepted.
Well, you have to give them a recommendation on which one.
Right.
I would recommend that we go with the initial when it's tied in, from a financial standpoint, that recommend that the council take out
Yeah,
this paragraph that says monthly sewer rates and charges will be effective upon acceptance of sewer system. As we're, from a financial standpoint, we're
Yeah.
looking at, we're running a deficit now without having the income from, it's in use.
yeah.
Because the way you're going, if they're not going to be here till April, it could get pushed back to May. It could get back to June. I mean, you could be carrying a load for a while.
yeah, we're already upside down, so we gotta. do
Yeah,
something.
actually, the client went in service, as far as the EPA knows, January 1st. So the contractor would have a year over that, even though the client's running, and we are running it. The contractor's still responsible for a year for that, and at the end of that year, the engineer's gotta basically send a paper that the plant's operating as designed. So,
Yeah, you need to start charging that.
yeah,
Yeah.
even though we taking care of the plant, the contractor and engineer is still on the hook for a year. But we still responsible for the plant.
Well, and the other thing is, I don't even think we can afford software for a billing system, because that's like $700 a year.
Well, that's supposed to be part of that.
That's supposed to be
But for us to go on forward,
yeah,
I mean,
that's
they're
what
not
she's
going to
saying.
pay it. No, it's like $3,000, $4,000 just for them to do a software system. Then you have a yearly maintenance of
Oh, I
like
got you.
$700,
Yeah, I know something.
and I don't think we can afford going forward with that $700 maintenance fee.
I got you.
So,
you can find a billing system for less, or Excel or something.
well, I'm doing it on my own. I'm trying to put it in Access right now. I'm doing it in Excel. I'm trying to put it in Access, but my Access is rusty.
And by rights, that money to maintain should be coming out of the sewer bill, right? I mean,
The what?
the money to maintain the sewer moving forward should be covered by the
sewer
income.
bills.
Right.
Yes, that's correct.
That does not
It's
fall on
supposed
the
to be-
village itself.
Yeah.
We do not have the money.
Oh, I understand. That's what the billing rate's supposed to be for you. Basically, you build up some reserve, quote unquote, to take care of future stuff, which we let people know that, hey, we got expenditures for if the pump goes out or whatever. So there is a little bit of cash reserve in that, but essentially you're running a balanced budget. What you take in, you're spending out. I mean, it's not about making
We're not
money,
here
it's
to make
about-
money. We
it's
need to
about
just.
operating it as a,
Right, there's gonna be no
Business.
profit.
but right now we're running in the negative, quote unquote, if you will. So
You're talking about all these things you need. When we did the whole time, help get all this stuff in, and like I'd go with Pam and I'd tell her I need meters, I need this and this, and she went ahead and got in the loan. So maybe you need to contact Pam on this stuff, cause she helped quite a bit up there, and I think the engineer and the contractor saying this is it, and right now we tight on the funds that's there as far as the contract. Maybe time to get that bumped up some so we could get some of the stuff we need. be in the loan, it's a free loan, they should better bump it up and get some of this stuff.
We did that once. We
Yeah.
might be able to do it again, but we did that
I
once because we were
contact
running
Pam
short.
and see what she can do.
Have you gotten a computer yet?
No. I haven't seen nothing. Like I said, I haven't got nothing up there. Everything that's up there, I brought in from home. So,
Alright, well, as far as when we talked to Pam previously and then talked to those guys who are supposed to be providing that stuff, so maybe she could add a little grease to the wheels. Cause obviously things aren't progressing as they should. Okay, so we need to make a recommendation,
Right.
or we need a motion for a recommendation to, make to village council that they amend this ordinance 9/2015, under this, I guess it'd be section 2, wouldn't it? Paragraph D, subsection 1, where it says the monthly sewer rates and charges shall effective on acceptance. Amend it to go back to the, where did you say it was in section 1?
Section 1 says upon connection,
Yeah,
but I think you'd want to make it effective March 1st. Not March 1st. Well, you can do March 1st. You can
retroactive March 1st.
start billing this month.
Ken?
Do we have a recommendation?
Yeah.
Do we have a second?
Brian?
Yes.
Gilbert?
Yes.
Beth?
That was specifically for people hooked in.
Yes.
Right. If you're using the system, you're
Yeah,
gonna
we
bill
start
for it.
building. Yeah. Not for those who aren't currently using. So when we talk about building, we'll figure out all that. Which would still look at the properties that aren't hooked in yet. Do you have any other new business?
Yeah, we need to take care of that 250 inspection fee for after 1/1/17.
Yeah, oh yes, we do need to have them look at that because there's some qualifying properties that are not currently hooked up. It'll be hooked up after 1/1, which I think some of the properties that already were tied in will be after 1/1.
They were after 1/1.
Yeah, I don't make the motions. I just print them
Yeah.
up.
I understand. But obviously we're, this situation's been looked at hindsight 2020 a few times. So how would we word the recommendation? Cause I know there was places hooked up after 1/1, but they were under than considering their initial guidelines, etc.
I would say anybody
Well-
that has an easement that was recorded.
Shouldn't be subject to the,
All the easements were recorded prior to 1/1. So
1/1/17,
you could say
yes.
that anybody that provided an easement to the village prior to January 1st
would not be subject to it.
will not be subject to the tap fee.
And
The
that should,
250, the inspection fee, not the tap fee,
yeah,
right?
well,
I wanna make
essentially,
sure we're
it'd be-
talking about the same thing.
essentially it'd be both, cause there was a tap fee was put in as the 1/1. I
For all new
think also,
connections after January 1st.
so anybody providing easement fee, then you got the situation with tap fee, we run into
Yeah,
the same
originally
kind
they did the tap fee to January because everybody was supposed to be hooked
Hooked
up
up.
like in September or something.
Yeah. So we need to recommend that anyone who signed it would now take care of both, cause then there would be more property subject, quote unquote, to the tap fee then, cause some of us didn't get hooked in until after January 1. They're already in the process.
So anyone providing an easement prior to 1/1/17 will not be liable for the $250 inspection or tap fees.
Do we have a motion to make that recommendation to council?
Now, you're talking about like when we were at that meeting down here at the community center,
Mm-hmm.
and everyone signed the easement, well, I never.
Well, not-
Whoever, yeah. And that, if you sign that easement before the 1st, then you're good.
You're
with the
good.
250.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah,
And the tap fee, cause based
Yeah,
on the
yeah.
language, yeah.
yeah, okay.
And then some of them signed in the second round of that, but I know that everybody who's looking to be hooked in now should have already had the easements in, as far as I understand.
Yeah.
So do we have,
Are there still properties in town where they have not signed an easement? I thought everybody signed this.
there may, the only one that's potential is the gentleman who lives up behind the cemetery up the hill.
Kevin.
Kevin Kale. He might be the only one.
I think he's fair in the fact that he does not have to connect into it.
What, 4
That's
feet?
my-
I think that'd be Bowersock, and I think
Right, Bowersock.
I think she signed both easements,
Oh,
I
did she?
believe.
Okay.
That's
I
the only
believe.
one I was only one I knew of question because I knew everybody else.
It's a family.
Yeah. Okay.
Bowersock's, Kales.
Okay. Okay.
They're all the same. They own the house.
But yeah, everybody should have already done that then. So, is that sufficient language enough? Okay. So do we have a
So Gilbert,
motion? Second?
Brian,
Yes.
Gilbert,
Yes.
Beth, and then tap here.
Oh,
Should
Yeah.
we try to pursue that if we can?
I would recommend you do if we can. I mean, I don't know that they ever had an easement for this place. So.
Yes, they do.
Oh, did they?
Mhm.
Okay. That would be on my addresses too. Or do we have to put that through council? Or can it be one of the ones that signed the, or is that, can I pass that on
I'm
to
pretty
Jason?
sure we have an easement for here,
Okay.
which I thought was odd. We didn't get one.
So if you have an easement for here, then
Didn't Village of Mifflin have an easement?
They didn't have a,
for the town hall here.
It wasn't on the plan.
they don't have a bath.
I know, but if they're putting
That's
taps
why
in
you're
for
saying
Well,
future,
you can't hook in back here.
You're not gonna pay yourself a $2,000 tap fee.
but if they're here doing it now, though, shouldn't they run the line? For
And
future
under
expansion?
the guidelines of what the ordinances are, it says they qualify as a
You don't
place
think
of
so?
meeting and so on.
What's that?
You don't think we should do that? Since they're here? If there was ever?
Well, you don't have to worry about an easement though,
Oh, right.
because you're the village and it's your stuff anyway. So whether you have an easement or not doesn't matter. But yeah, if they're gonna run it right by here, there would make sense to put a tap out there if you hook in. That way you're already.
It's already, I mean, the line's back there, all they have to do is just cut a tap into it.
Yeah, if you can get done while it's here, it's better.
They probably have to do
Better
it
than
up front.
later.
George is out front.
Yeah, if they do it, have to do it out to the front probably. They got, this only has so much property, like 2 feet beyond the back of the building, and that's my property and Craig's property. So they'd have to get an easement, quote unquote, from us over here and let them run the line across their property.
I'm thinking the line runs up and back.
Yeah, it runs out in Minnesota, yeah.
Connected this house over here.
Yeah. Yeah, and then mine's connected out the side, but I'm saying as far as the village physical property, for it to go back to you, they'd have to go through somebody else's property.
Mhm.
They'd have to be done out front to be on their own.
Does it run out front?
Nope.
No.
Well, it'd have to go, I guess, down and around to the side there. I don't know how they would do it. It could be potentially looked into, but yeah, they would have to run.
Well,
Where you gonna have the bathroom if we ever put it in? You gotta take that into consideration. I mean,
I guess that would be for council to decide. I mean, if it's something worth pursuing, but I mean, it's building sitting here.
Garage part, because we're working on we haven't got it, not saying we will this year, but we're working on it, grant over here. So, we don't have room to expand.
Well, we can put it on the list and then they can argue.
Is that something you guys have to make a motion to recommend?
I don't know, do we have to recommend that to council to look at that, or is that just something I can pass the address on? I can pass the address on.
Okay.
So we're to the approval of reports.
So I've given you a financial package. The first page is the outstanding bills received as of today. And I missed Tim's January payment, so he's on there twice. Second page is the fund status for the sewer fund right now. And the next page is what we have paid for January from the sewer fund, and the next page is February from the sewer fund. Something that maybe we might want to think about, is there anything in there about penalties for people not paying? What about not paying their assessments? Because right now,
I don't remember about the assessment.
because we have outstanding over $6,000 of people who have not paid their assessments, and we're only collecting at less than 80%.
I thought that was where we could pass it on to the.
We have some.
You can only do that once a year.
You can only do that once a year, so it's still they're not paying.
Yeah, there's no penalty or anything, 'cause I thought I paid mine and I didn't, but in my bill I got this, it's just $90.
Right? There's
There's
no
no
penalty. There's no.
Like, woo-hoo.
Now there is
The village needs the
on
money.
the sewer billing, I believe it does say a 10% penalty for the actual bill, but I don't know. I mean, is that a moot point about the assessments?
I know it's not meant to make a profit, but we're gonna need every dime we got to run that thing.
I don't know the original, the ordinance where we set up the,
Oh, the assessments.
I don't think there was a penalty on there, but I don't know.
I don't think that there. I'm not sure that there was one on the initial assessments. I know that was just turn it over to put it on the property taxes.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think there is one. I think they're written in here somewhere on the other billing one. It does have.
Well,
I believe there's a penalty.
the
for
other
the
one,
bill.
now there's a 10% penalty after 30 days.
Yeah, but even here in the enforcement of penalties, it doesn't list that assessment as having a penalty.
Well, the assessment was
Well,
set up in
it was set up
2014.
A long time ago. It wouldn't be in there. 'Cause that was-
I don't have it in there.
Yeah, I'm not seeing that.
I just thought about it with this.
Yeah,
I don't know that you can, if it's not in that original ordinance when we assess the
Can't go back and do anything about it now. Okay.
all right, we have the minutes.
The minutes are. You have the minutes.
All right, do we have a motion to approve the financial reports?
Yeah.
A second.
Brian.
Yes.
Gilbert.
Yes.
Beth.
You guys had a chance to look at the minutes?
I did earlier.
Yeah, I don't think I see either. Was back in the- Yeah, I wrote that these earlier.
I just added on
Yeah.
after what, because I'd forgotten that part.
Do we have a motion to approve the minutes?
Yes.
Do we have a second?
Yes.
I don't think she can second. That.
Oh, that's right, because she wasn't here.
second, she just can't approve it.
Okay.
You'll have to abstain from the vote because you weren't here.
Okay, Brian.
Yes,
Gilbert.
Yes.
Beth.
Yes.
you'll have to abstain.
You'll have to abstain.
Abstain because you weren't
Oh,
here last
that's
month.
right, abstain.
All right, so do we have a motion to adjourn?
Yeah, I talked to George yesterday.
Okay.
And, way about getting this sewer hooked up, where he's gonna go to the end zone. I think he brought this up before, about hooking into the end zone. He's already got notarized, paperwork notarized, and
I'll speak to, like I said earlier, I talked to George about another option. I'll have to get with him. I thought he might be here today. So, all right, do we have a motion to adjourn though?
Yeah.
We can talk about that separate. Have a second? I'll second.
Brian.
Yes.
Gilbert. Beth.
All right, I'll make sure from the sure I get their addresses from, I know they have easements and so forth, so their properties aren't hooked up. I need to get those passed on to Jason to make sure.
When you get addresses, get lot numbers too.
And do we have those, is that our